Acer recently held an event at the 57th floor of the World Trade Center 4 building to show all of the press kind of what they've been up to for the last few months. And it's a lot. There were a lot of products announced, from a 2-in-1 that's fanless to a VR-capable gaming laptop. So instead of going through all of them, because there were a lot, I figured in this video I would just run down the coolest things I found at the Acer event. First up, Acer announced a new Chromebook that they are calling the fastest on the market. Now, it's called the Chromebook 14 for Work because Google has a Google for Work initiative that they've done. That means that certain Chromebooks have to meet certain security benchmarks and durability benchmarks in order to be considered for work, and this meets those. A big part of that performance that they mentioned comes from the fact that these have 6th gen Intel Core i processors as opposed to, say, the M1s that you usually see in Chromebooks. On top of the durability test that Google for Work requires, they actually went and got it US military certified. What that means is it's gone through rain and dust and hot and cold and still managed to continue working after. On top of that, it has this unique Gorilla Glass that Acer will actually allow you to imprint an image in. So for example, your company logo or something else businessy like that. The screen comes in 2 options, whether a HD option or a full HD option, and also has a 720p webcam for video conferencing sitting above the screen. All in all, it's a pretty decent looking Chromebook, and the price point is pretty good as well, as with most Chromebooks, if we're honest. But it's not a bad option for people who need it for work. Next up, we have the Acer Aspire S13, which is the latest in Acer's lineup of ultra-thin notebooks. With its textured matte top and its shiny hinge, along with its backlit keyboard and thin profile, it's actually a pretty slick looking laptop. Underneath that exterior, we have 6th gen Core i processors, 8 gigs of RAM, a full HD IPS display, and an optional battery that Acer says will last up to 14 hours. For connectivity, it has a USB 3.1 Type-C connector as well as a regular USB 3.0 and also Wi-Fi 802.11 AC. It's available with or without a touchscreen, and it measures in at about 0.56 inches thin, as well as weighs only 2.86 pounds, which is not the lightest around, but is still pretty light. The best part about this laptop, it starts at $699. Next, Acer announced a 2-in-1 that actually has a pretty unique cooling system. The Acer Switch Alpha 12 is a fanless, liquid-cooled touchscreen tablet with a removable keyboard. Now, the real interesting thing about how they managed to cool this was the fact that they didn't use any motors or pumps to actually move the liquid around to cool the device. Instead, they figured out a clever way to allow the heat from the device itself to circulate the liquid. So as the liquid in there starts to heat up, it actually moves, carrying the heat away with it, and then eventually it cools back down and then makes its way back around the loop to be heated up all over again, and so on and so on. In addition to this clever cooling, the specs aren't too shabby either. It has a 6th gen Intel Core i processor, just like every other device in this announcement really, the option of 4 gigs or 8 gigs of RAM, a multi-position kickstand, detachable keyboard that is included with the purchase, by the way, and a 12-inch 2160 by 1440 resolution touchscreen that you can use their pen, which is sold separately, and the new Windows Ink that's coming out soon with the new Windows Anniversary update. All of this is encased in an anodized aluminum chassis with a USB 3.1 Type-C port and another USB port. All of this starts at around $599. For those who are really serious into gaming, Acer has announced some very serious contenders to be your new gaming machine. The first of which is their new super compact desktop called the Predator G1. The Predator G1 was kind of designed with LAN parties in mind, it seems. Even the teaser video they showed us had a guy, lose at a LAN party and then go off, get the G1 and kind of carry it back into the room and then win, of course. But regardless of whether you plan to carry this thing around or not, it is still cool to have this much power in such a small form factor. The G1 has a choice of the 6th gen Intel Core processors and up to 64 gigs of DDR4 RAM. On top of that, it supports a full NVIDIA GeForce GTX graphics card up to a Titan X, which is one of their top-of-the-line cards. So 4K gaming and even hardware-intense VR are no problem. It even has options for a 4TB hard drive or a 512GB solid-state drive with a USB 3.1 Type-C Gen 2 port for extra data transfer options. And to further promote the idea of this being used for LAN parties, Acer is doing a promotion for the first certain amount of people that you get this pretty unique looking rolly bag, essentially, for carrying around your new Predator G1. And finally, we have the thing that I was most excited about, which is the Predator 17X, which is Acer's new super serious gaming, maybe video editing, laptop. Powered by a 6th gen Intel Core i7 processor with overclocking available up to 4 GHz, up to 64 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and a full-size NVIDIA GeForce GTX 980. Not the smaller one that we usually see in laptops, the full-sized desktop graphics card. It's a serious laptop that can not only handle 4K gaming, but apparently VR as well. Acer also designed a new fan system to help cool all of this power, with an air intake at the front of the laptop instead of the usual under the laptop, which makes sense, and an exhaust vent on the back that works a lot like the air intake in your car. Add to that a colored backlit keyboard, Thunderbolt 3, USB 3.0 ports, an SD card slot, an Ethernet port, and Wi-Fi that can work simultaneously, the option of a 4K display, and you can see how this shapes up to be one of the top-of-the-line laptops you can get. The downside? Well, battery life isn't that great. It's pretty big, and it starts at about $2,700. But did I mention possibly portable VR? There you go, quick recap of everything that was announced that was unique and cool. I'm obviously excited about the 17X and hopefully can get my hands on one, and I'll probably just use it to carry around an HTC Vive and just terrorize people with VR on the street. But that's me. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please thumbs up it or share it. It is greatly appreciated. And if you want more videos like this, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and reach out to me on Twitter at TheUnlocker. As always, thanks for watching.